Hi, everybody. This video is for my algebra class to do our Algebra 1, Unit 1.7. It's going to be our spreadsheet project, okay? And so for the spreadsheet project, it's actually a couple pages out of the book that I'm going to have you guys use. I just can't assign those pages from the book. So I'm going to have to work around and do it a different way, okay? So one of the ways I'm doing it is by using this Google spreadsheet, okay? So I'm going to explain kind of how this works. And what I'm going to do is if you want to follow along with your book, you can. But for what I'm doing, I'm going to show and scroll through the book so that way you guys see the problems, see the numbers, see the instructions on there as I'm talking through them. In case you need to go back to it and your book's not loading, you can always kind of pause through the video and do it as you follow along with what's on my screen. Okay. So there's 3 pages from the book I'm going to show you guys. First one has these that I'm going to have you guys use on the first sheet. If you can see, there's 3 of these sheets down here. So on the first sheet, I want you guys to use for this first page I'm showing. And it has different calculations and different things that I want you guys to see. I'm trying to scroll through each problem. That way you guys can see exactly which numbers and what the math is you want to put in for each box. Okay. As you're watching this back, you can fast forward through it or pause it on a certain problem as you go. All right. And the last one here, number 10, it asks for the mean, the average, and the equal. So what it means by that is in your Google Sheet, you can literally type the word mean and then in parentheses, type these numbers. And you can type the word average, then parentheses, these numbers. And then equal, they just want you to take the average where you would just type in those numbers in parentheses and then divide them by the total amount. All right, the way you would do it in a calculator. But these are the 2 different ways you can do it in the spreadsheet. Okay, so that was page 1. And I want that to go on sheet 1. Okay, but now if I go over to sheet 2, okay, this will be for page 2, right? And in sheet 2, if you saw it real quick, I'm going to show more about it. But I had the answer responses ready for you there, okay? So on this one, it's asking you to go through these instructions, okay? I'm not going to read through them all. I'm just going to scroll through, and you guys can pause the video and read them as you work on it, okay? But it tells you what to do in certain cells, and then these answer boxes where you would answer those, I have them here. So you would type in your answer response for 1, for 2, for 3, for 5, all the way through there. So here's question 1 and 2. Here's 3 and 4. Here is 5 and 6, but 6 is just saying you can label the ones next to them. There's not necessarily an answer you need to type in there. So I don't have it on the spreadsheet either. This one's just asking you to label them, right? In which case I would see that you labeled them afterwards because I would see all the labels on there, all right? So that's here for these answer responses, okay? And if this is a good tip just for all Google Sheets or Excel spreadsheets, if you type in a box a bunch of, I don't know if I spell it right, of different words that are too long, and what happens is they kind of automatically go and overlap on the other boxes. So if you start typing in these and they kind of overlap this way and they're good and really long, and these maybe different lines are in the way, or they get in the way, or it looks a little bit more bunched up, you can come up here. If you see that little blue line in between H and I column, if I double click on that, it automatically reformats the cell to the longest sentence there. Okay, so it was already formatted to answer responses, but then because I typed in this longer sentence, then it'll go to the longest one possible, right? And if I delete that and then I do it again, it'll go back to the longest answer in the cell, okay? And all of these cells, if you need to change them, if you're like, oh man, I need column C to be way bigger, then go for it, okay? If you need row 3 to be way bigger, go for it, okay? That's totally fine. All right, so now I'm going to show you page 3 and then sheet 3 on our spreadsheet, okay? So going to sheet 3, and this one, the answers are kind of in different parts, so I kind of had to put them in part 1 and 2. So each of these are asking for you to do a calculation and to write in the answer and then also the formula, okay? So on your sheet, 1A is for the answer and 1F is for the formula, all right? So as you guys do these, some of these are asking you kind of different questions that you might have to look some stuff up for. So this one is asking you about kilometers per hour. And if you're not sure how to do that, you might have to search or research or Google how to do kilometers per hour division. For number 2, this one's asking you about the area of a triangle. So you'd have to look up the area of a triangle formula. If you forget that, if you're not, don't have it off the top of your head, that's all right. And now 3 and 4, these ones are kind of connected, okay? So for 3, it's asking you about this fruit punch recipe, okay? And about it gives you the numbers for 1 batch, and it asks you how much and how many things will be in 5 batches, all right? For how many cups are in 5 batches, right? So you do number 3 just like you did the other ones, but number 4 asks you to go back to number 3 and use the same numbers. And it's asking you to check with a partner. Don't have to worry about that. But it wants you to type in those different ingredient numbers into separate cells. You can label them to make it easier. And then in a new blank cell, use a formula to find the total amount of fruit punch for the different values, okay? So here's the different parts that they want to do for 4. So this box doesn't really need anything, okay? But 4A asks for 7.25 batches. So instead of 5 from earlier, we want a bigger number of batches, okay? B asks how many batches if you change one of the cups of seltzer water. And now C asks if you change the ratio to however much flavor you would like, how many total cups would be in half of that batch. So if you change these numbers, if you say, I don't want 1/4 cup of pineapple juice, I love pineapple, I want it to be 3 cups of pineapple juice. Or if you say, I hate cranberry juice, I don't want any of that, or maybe only half of what's there. Or seltzer water, that's okay, maybe I'll up it a little bit. If you want to change that around, okay, and then whatever numbers and however you change that, the total number of cups will change, right? And that'll get bigger or smaller, okay? And then put whatever half of that total number of cups is in your new type of batch, your new recipe, into that last box, okay? Which is in this column here, okay? I put this column off to the side that way you have plenty of space to work on all these sheets, okay? Hopefully that made enough sense and you guys are ready to go. This video will be posted with this Google Sheet that you guys can work on that and turn in that. Thank you guys.